What's up everyone, welcome to today's video. Welcome to the Video Game Fight School channel. Thank you very much for tuning in. So the question, should I buy a PlayStation 5 for Gotham Knights? Now the answer to that is quite complicated because honestly I don't want to tell anybody what to do. And again, I have never played Gotham Knights at this time of recording this video, so I don't even know if it's worth you spending $500 on a console in order for you to play this one game. Now, if there's a list of maybe other video games that you feel you'd benefit from playing and enjoy, then you can just maybe tack on Gotham Knights alongside it. But that's pretty much the condition within which I would say maybe PlayStation 5 or a series console is something that you should invest money in. Now, the reason this question comes up a lot is because many people in our community here were expecting Gotham Knights to be released on the PlayStation 4 and Xbox One. I've done videos talking about the technical side of things, but I think it's time for us to visit the business and economic side of things as well and kind of see where we stand, and maybe we can provide a little bit of value as to people who may be asking this particular question. Now, many of us already know and are aware of scenarios within the gaming industry that have actually changed the way things are done. But we gamers sometimes were a funny bunch. We sometimes remember everything and sometimes forget everything. And I use everything loosely because just recently, it was right before our eyes, the Cyberpunk 2077 was the biggest fiasco in all of gaming in at least the near future or the near past years. If you were to look at, say, maybe from 2017, when EA and their Battlefield game had some issues with the creative direction and some of the leadership bad mouthing the player base, and then even DICE's Star Wars game, which also had some issues with microtransactions and all. Largely, a lot of gamers had kind of forgotten all of that, and then Cyberpunk 2077 just basically struck again with a game that was released in a poor state. This did not necessarily end all the drama because not only did the fans feel disappointed, investors also felt disappointed and sued CD Projekt Red for a poor release of Cyberpunk 2077, where CD Projekt Red had to pay a total of $1.8 million as a settlement in this class action suit. Now, not only was this settlement the last or the least of all their problems, their stock prices got a hit, their market valuation also got a hit, and they pretty much were exposed as a gaming development company like every other game development company that just in a sense hyped their game, but then the overhype was way more than the game that they could deliver itself. And this was a problem if you were to actually evaluate all of this. You go back and you look at Gotham Knights, you look at the creative direction of this game, and you say to yourself, is it possible that Warner Brothers is not in the mood for any such drama right now? And the answer is probably leaning closer to yes. You see, with the new management, with the Discovery merger that has actually gone on, it appears to everyone, or I guess it's apparent now, that the new management is not playing with anything that is not up to quality along the lines of their entertainment properties. Just recently, after having spent $90 million, right, on a Batgirl movie, they said go ahead and just shelve it. That's how serious they are. I don't think they're in a position where they are desperate to actually release anything that does not meet quality. If you follow this trend and follow this theme, you'll see that also another movie was also axed. They basically went ahead and said, no, we're not doing this. And when you take this mindset into their other IPs, I think it makes sense as to how the top brass would have actually okayed the cancellation of Gotham Knights on the PlayStation 4 console. The business ramifications of releasing a broken game right now is actually a lot more higher than it was in the past. Back in the day, all you got was internet flack. People maybe on the internet would roast your game, and then you got maybe some Twitter, handles basically throw shade your way, and then that would be it. You fix the game later and you put it back on sale, and this was what a lot of game development companies did for the most part. In today's day and age, nonetheless, this is no longer the case. It's no longer as easy as you just going back to fix the game. That whole model of release now, fix later is getting checked like crazy, and I think that's actually a good thing. I believe strongly that game development needs to be in a place where they release polished products at the end of the day. And whatever needs to be done to release a polished product, as long as it's within ethical means and it's not something that basically breaches any kind of legal binding agreement, then sure, it is, in my opinion, the best thing for everybody so far. I mean, would you want a copy of Gotham Knights to come out and then get put away from the PlayStation Store just because it's so buggy? Remember, there was one game where this definitely happened to, which is our favorite example that we throw everywhere, which is Cyberpunk 2077. Now, Cyberpunk 2077 was not necessarily a bad game. It was actually a good game, which is the saddest part of everything. The game ran on a PlayStation 5 console. If you had it at the time of release, it ran on your Series console. It ran very well on PC. There were no problems for the most part. Now, yes, it had some, I would say, deficiencies, but it wasn't necessarily the same as, say, the game was not necessarily running, and the cost of this has not even been explored. How much money and how much potential dollars CD Projekt Red lost in releasing that game in a bad state is not necessarily going to be calculated for the next few years to come. CD Projekt Red is not going to release a game where everyone's just going to run to, because Cyberpunk 2077 is going to be plastered all over their names. And I'm guessing that Warner Brothers does not want this to be in their resume at this time. They don't seem like they're in the mood. And so welcome to the real world. This is Business 101. There is no room for any unnecessary mistake or any way to kind of bring subpar products to the industry, because I think for the longest time fans had tolerated this, or maybe they felt like, they were going to try a new angle or appeal to a new audience with all of these IPs. And I'm speaking to Warner Brothers Interactive and Warner Brothers Entertainment, and for the most part it lost them more and more money, and now the new management is not coming in to lose more money. And so I think we're going to see this culture actually continue to permeate all the other aspects of their entertainment lines. And so bringing the story back to Gotham Knights and bringing this discussion here, I think this game, whatever it is that it's going to be, has been approved. And if the game, or depending on how the game does in sales, we'll probably be hearing what their decision is to move forward. We're already seeing on the cinematic universe, they're talking about possibly maybe having Superman head the DC, universe, the DC cinematic universe, and all of the above. We don't necessarily know what their plans are for the video game side of things, but time is going to tell, and usually the dollars always speak for these big corporations at the end of the day. But that's pretty much my own analysis for all of this. I appreciate you guys for engaging the video. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section, and hopefully we'll talk pretty soon. Peace out.